Hi, everybody. We're going to look at 2 Corinthians chapter 11 today. This is a chapter near the end of the second letter of Paul to the Corinthians. And it's a slightly strange chapter. Paul, as he's writing, if you read it, he almost comes across as if he's a bit embarrassed. He's not quite sure how to write. I don't know if you've ever had to explain to other people why you are qualified or why you have the gifts or the authority to do your job. And you might feel it's a bit embarrassing to have to make that point, especially if you feel you have to sort of blow your own trumpet. It's much easier if they've understood that and other people have said it. But if you're having to defend yourself in that way, it can be a little bit embarrassing. And I think that's a little bit like what's happening for Paul here. There are some false apostles, some false teachers who are saying things about Jesus that Paul thinks is not right, it's not true, and he's trying to make the case that he is the best person to teach them about Jesus because he's been commissioned by Jesus himself for this ministry, and he has authority. And he has a track record as well. So at one point he makes a comparison between these false teachers and between himself. So from verse 23, Paul he says that he's having to speak foolishly, which is almost, as I say, a sense of almost embarrassment. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they Abraham's descendants? So am I. Are they servants of Jesus? I am more. I've worked much harder, been in prison more frequently, been flogged more severely, and been exposed to death again and again. So he makes, and he goes on to explain lots of other ways that the difficulties and hardships that he's faced prove that he's prepared to go to any lengths to follow Jesus and to complete the commission that he's been given as an apostle, and that he comes with authority. It's not the fine words, it's not the fancy CV, but it's this life lived with Jesus, even a life lived like Jesus in suffering, that proves he is an apostle and he's worthy for the ministry that he has. What does this mean for us today? Well, it can mean many things, but I suppose one encouragement for me is that it gives me a sense of confidence when I read the scriptures that Paul writes. Paul sometimes comes in for a bit of slack. People don't always like all the things that he said. And some people will say, well, we should just really read what Jesus had to say. You know, who was Paul? But actually, I think it's helpful for me to hear Paul defending his ministry in this way. And it gives me greater confidence to read and wrestle with his scriptures because he really was the apostle appointed by Jesus for the ministry that he had.